I'm Missladypetal. I've been thinking about doing YouTube videos for quite a while, and I finally decided to take the plunge. But it's part of a total online strategy I've got at the moment. So I've just created an Etsy store called Missladypetal Creations. I have a blog called Missladypetal Creations. I have a YouTube channel now called Missladypetal Creations, and I have a Facebook page called Missladypetal Creations. I'm trying to brand and link all of the whole lot together, and that's what's taken me so long to get this video up and running, because there's no point in me starting a video channel and then not being able to put links to everything else that I have. If you want to have a look at everything that I do and sell and blog about and my part of my community. And I want to thank Claudia Rossi and the Krazy Island family for encouraging me to do this, and being a really great group to be a part of that's inspirational and gives support to each other. But I also want to thank the local ladies around that call me their muse, and they want to see what I'm doing, and they want to know what inspires me, and they want to know how I do stuff, and they want to learn from me. And I just get really excited about that whole thing. And I guess this whole introduction thing is right at the beginning of my journey now into formalizing some of the being really productive in my art, and sharing with you a little bit about where I've been and what my vision is for the future for where I'm going. So a little bit about me. My name's Peter. I am a co-owner with my husband of 3 businesses. I have 2 beautiful teenage boys, both in high school at the moment, and they keep me very busy. I also sing in church, as well as do my art and my crafts and my scrapbooking and my quilting, and just think about it, I do so many things, and my life is very busy. So I have to be very ruthless about the way that I organise all different aspects of my life. So where I've come from, I started doing paper crafts when I was in high school, and I used to doodle a lot in my diaries, and I used to doodle on almost anything actually, because my dad showed me not that long ago a wooden ruler that had little bumblebees all over it, and he said that it brought a smile to his face every time he saw it, and he kept it on his desk because whenever he saw it he thought of me, and that just poignantly brought to me that even the smallest bits of art and craft can mean a lot to the people that we give them to or sell them to, and that they have a really much bigger impact on people than what we think. Just a case in point, I did a curiosity canvas recently for my mother-in-law, and I will do another video on this, but the impact that that's had on her life and the people that see that is simply amazing. And I have a sheet of what we call in prophetic interpretations as what that artwork means specific to my mum's life, and to be honest with you, I didn't think about that when I first created it for her. In fact, I didn't even create it specifically for her in the beginning. I was doing it for me, and then I thought, well, her birthday's coming up, I'll bless her with that. And since then it's like a focal point in her house, and everybody that comes in looks at it and they all see different things, and that, I think, is the snapshot of why I love art and why I love craft, because it can impact people's lives and be a blessing long after you've gone, or long after you've finished creating it and gone to a new project. And that inspires me to do lots of different things and to be the best that I can possibly be. So I started my journey scrapbooking and quilting and doing cross stitch actually, and right up until my babies were born, and then I became mainly a scrapbooker. Did a bit of quilting. I kind of make a quilt every 5 years or so, so that's a reasonable amount of quilts in my life, but it's not my full-time passion. And the scrapbooking became a real passion of mine for quite a number of years, particularly when my babies were small, because I was really taking lots of photos of them, as you do. You know, new mums take lots of photos of your bubbies. And that was keeping me happy. I was really busy with babies and work, and cleaning up all after the babies, and then scrapbooking at nights on weekends whenever I could with friends. And I left it for a few years. We moved to Queensland from New South Wales in Australia, and I packed all my stuff away and I just never got it out. And I did other things, and I guess I got inspired by going to scrap camps, and a friend of mine who does Kaisercraft, she invited me to go to Mount Tambourine, which is an awesome mountain near where I live, and at the top of it you feel like you're on top of the world, and they've got all these great retreats there and lodges and B&Bs, and I go up there twice a year in April and November, and we have like a dorm style accommodation, and then we can create to our heart's content for 2.5 whole days, and it's an amazing time. And I've made a quilt there, and I've done beyond the page projects and stuff, and it's a great place to just be. But I came home from that camp in April of last year and realised that I thought I wasn't interested in scrapbooking anymore. My pages were far more intricate, and they were getting right up there with Gabrielle Polacco kind of style. I was very much more interested in the whole thing as a piece of art rather than preserving the memories, and that, I think, was an indicator to me that I wanted something more, that I'd outgrown just scrapbooking. Not that I still don't do it, I do, but I don't focus all my energy on that one thing anymore. So I went to YouTube and I looked at a whole heap of different things. Like, I was amazed at how many different things were on YouTube, and my eyes were opened. And I came across this thing called art journaling. And so I thought, I'll give that a go. So I bought myself a cheap art journal, and this is my first art journal. And you've seen covers of this maybe online for those of you that know me online. And this is just like sketchbook paper, so it's thin GSM paper. And I did things in it where I originally approached it from a scrapbooking perspective. And so the first kind of pages I did were like this. So rather like a smash book kind of a setup, smashed with scrapbooking. And then I progressed to just doing art journal pages for the sake of doing art journal pages. So there's a little bit of art journaling there, and dedicated collage, and, you know, some doodles and things like that. So I would do that just for trying things out and the joy of creating something unique on a page that wasn't meant to be framed, and you could make a mistake and it was okay to do that. But then I started to paint as well, and I explored watercolour painting. My dad is a watercolour artist, and I have his paintings around my house, and they mean more than anything else to me of him. Like, when my dad's gone, I'll have his paintings, and that for me has a really high emotional value and sentimental value for me, and I guess that's why I kind of started going down this path. So I was doing paintings, and I was quite prolific actually, because the more that I did and showed, the more interest it sparked online on Facebook predominantly, but in my local community, and I started getting commissions. And so therefore, in this same journal, I started planning paintings, and that's my first sketch of a graffiti canvas I did for my son Brandon. And then I went to doing textures and markers, and I planned it out, and then I did the painting. And so I realised I had 3 different types of journaling in this one journal. I had smash book, I had art journaling, and I had serious art planning and painting. And I thought to myself, oh, I really should separate them out. So I decided to do some interesting things. So I learned how to bookbind last year. I took a really keen interest in it because I love creating things. And so this is my next journal, and this journal actually has a specific purpose. So she's made out of collage papers from some of my other artwork, and then I've painted her face over the top just roughly with the flowers around, and then I've actually painted her face in with India ink so it's permanent. And this book I bound myself, and she's mainly for doing girly faces. So look, those of you from Crazy Island Studios will recognise this face because she's my magenta girl, and I did that by doing Claudia Rossi's girly face painting course, and it's an amazing course, and I recommend it highly to anybody that does it. There's a lot of work put into it, and look, she was my first girl, and she's not perfect, but I never even thought that I could draw a face. And now I'm drawing faces all the time, all different types of faces, and look, it's a really exciting thing. And so bookbinding is just really fun. I can do it out of recycled products, and I've got my own stamps on here and my own tissue paper and graffiti and all sorts of things in here. So that's the second type of journal, and I'll be making the majority of my journals from now on. I've just bought a binding machine, and so I'll be binding my smash journals from now on. I also have my current smash journal. So this is a recycle project that I did, and I made it all out of greeting cards. The cover, everything, even the papers in this were scrap papers that I have bits and pieces of. And inside, the whole thing is made of greeting cards, or old greeting cards I've got. And I'm putting things in it like that's the first little foam stamp I ever created. And although I really want to still use that stamp, I can easily make another one, so I put it in there. This is my favourite incense, and so I kept losing the tags of my favourite incense, and like it's really pure and I get allergic to other ones, so I put it in here, and I've got the phone number on there so I can call them and find out where their stall is, and then if I want to replace it I can. And I have tags in here, and these are just bits and pieces that I found and projects that I didn't go on with, and you know, like even like some of my husband's CD covers, there's pockets and I can put stuff in there. So, you know, this is a tag from my favourite boutique that does these amazing limited edition dresses, and I have one of them, Kitten Dear More. And the tags are so beautiful that I just wanted to put one in there because there's a memory attached to it, because I love that dress. Very 1950s, looks really pretty. And so that's my smash journal, and my next smash journal will actually be a bit bigger than this, but I'm just in love with this journal at the moment. And I have a serious art journal, and that's a mixed media journal. And one of the reasons I started bookbinding was because that particular journal is like 220 GSM paper, so really thick paper. It's a Strathmore journal, so it's beautiful. Like, I can't recommend them highly enough. But in Australia, it cost me $70 just for a mixed media journal. So I'll pull it out, and there you go. Like, I've spent $70 on a journal that's, I started just doing normal sort of journaling in, and then I started doing some paintings, and that's the planning for a bark painting that I've done. And I started doing my watercolor studies. There's my 5-minute poppies, and I started doing a whole heap of different, starting to do serious paintings. I've done a sketch and a full size painting in this that's framed and hanging in my walkway at the moment. So I loved these so much, and they were so quick and easy to do. And you know, but that at $70, I thought to myself, I can buy a pad of mixed media paper and make my own for a fraction of the cost. So that's what I'm doing now, because I'm not into wasting money, and I want to use as much as I can around the house and get into recycling. And I'm amazed at all the sorts of things that I can do. I'm really excited by it. So yeah, I just really want to bless people. This year, where am I going? I'm the art director for this amazing Jewels conference that my church runs, and we have like hundreds and hundreds of ladies that come from all over the state, and some from interstate. And actually this morning they had the registration form up on the big overhead projector, and I was so amazed because I could hear people going, oh, that's really pretty artwork, and I had designed it, and I get a real kick out of that. And so I've done a lot of the work for that, and I'm still working on some of the artwork at the moment. I have some canvases that I'm still working on for the conference, and I'm even planning a chandelier, and it's amazing the sorts of things that I'm doing this year. So that's sort of where I'm going. I'm also running a gratitude canvas course in November. So for those of you in Queensland, I'm running a big course in November. It'll be half a day, and by the end of it, you'll come out of it with a gratitude canvas that's all about being grateful for what we have. We have so much. We're very wealthy, and I think that we should be more thankful for what we have. And I'm spending an exercise for the next 12 months learning to be grateful for everything that I have, and stop whinging about first world problems. So, which we all do. It's so much human nature. We all do that. So it's my thing at the moment. I say with my kids, like, you know, that's such a first world problem where you just think about how petty and whiny that sounds. They hate me when I say that, but you know, truth hurts sometimes. So I've been asked to do some other classes. So I've been asked to do a class on the recycled cards journal and paper beads. I'm really into paper beads at the moment. I have another journal that I've got up the back here that's just my fabric book, and it's got my mono prints on the front, and it's made out of a muesli bar box, and it's got my paper beads here. And I was so inspired making this project. It didn't take me very long at all. The inside cutouts actually took the longest, but the rest of it just didn't take very long at all. That was beautiful, and it cost me almost absolutely nothing to make. And the amount of people that have commented on this and said to me, Peter, I really want to make these myself, or learn how to make them, or do you sell them? So that's why I've started up an Etsy store, because, you know, people don't necessarily want to make paper beads, but they might want to buy them. They don't want to make cards, but they want to buy them. They don't want to make these journals, but they might want to buy them. So, you know, that's the sort of thing that I'm doing. I've got a lot of plans. I'll let you more know in future videos when I'm doing stuff and when I'm planning courses, and I'll show preludes for that kind of things, so all the people that are local can do it. And then I'll post up stuff that I've done, because I want to do some instructional videos as well. I have a lot of knowledge across a lot of genres, so ask me questions. You can leave me questions and comments on this video, and then I'll do a video answering your questions. I'll research it and find out if I don't know. But I've also partnered, and I've got Claudia on the side here. I've partnered all my favorited channels for all my most important art inspirational people, and the people that I really value in this industry, that I've learned a lot from, and they've all helped to form the style that I've got now. So I'm really excited about that. They're all on my YouTube channel, so if I can't answer it, I'm absolutely guaranteed that someone from there can. This space that I have, that you can see where I was sitting, that's my main workspace, and it has some amazing amounts of things. I have all my wooden stamps and my embossing plates, all my inks, I have Xyrons, I have over here, I have all my papers, my current journals I'm working on. Here I have a beautiful writing desk, and my husband gave me this for a present one year. I have my sewing machine in that, and I have in the bottom drawers I have all my special papers, my watercolour papers, my canvas papers and watercolour canvases, and lots of different special things like that. And up above it I have my current large journals and my masks. I have my monoprinting stuff and my jelly plate, my collage papers and my cling stamps, all in the red binders. You can also see on the wall there that I've got one of Claudia's girls that I painted, one of my pretty girls, and a mini quilt. So if I move around the room further, this table of mine is an old dining room table, and it's massive, and one of the reasons that I can't film from behind it looking straight down onto what I'm doing, because it's butted right up against a window, because I have a small room. So this here is my little caddy, and she moves around like a lazy Susan, and I have everything that I use there. So I have paint markers and glues and scissors and little tools and pens and hole punches, and gosh, you name it, I've got it in there. And in the drawers I've got like double-sided tapes and ink pads and like little itty-bitty ranger tools and just heaps of double-sided tape and stuff like that. So what I'm doing now is just taking you up to my next part. So there's a little clock I made and some stamps. I've got my big rolls of ribbon and my binding materials there and my palettes. I have on this shelf, this is a serious work tool shelf, so it's got all my buttons, recycled beads, paper beads, it's got recycled jewellery, chipboard letters, tools, gelatos, my pins. Then on the lower down in there, that shelf is completely devoted to spray cans and my book binding press, and for my graffiti canvases. So now you're coming to my stand-up paint table. So my big piece of scratch paper, which I soon will rip off and start again and use it for something. I have a caddy that's got one of Jenny Belly's recycled flowers that I learned how to do. On the front, it was a six-pack of beer caddy, Coronas. My husband's partial to Coronas, and I've repurposed it for craft. There's my name, Peter. as a cartouche from a Tutankhamun exhibit in Melbourne, and this is like my inspiration board at the moment. So it's got some monoprints, a fabulous embroidery piece from India, a doll, it's got some of my Jules conference stuff, it's got a photo of my dad and my youngest son, and a face that I'm working on at the moment that I'm working out what to do with her. She's on a big A3 sheet of paper and I want to do something lovely with her, and some photos of me and my kids and my family. And I come round, I can't yet show you some more images of the Jules girls that I've got, so I'll go back the other way, because in case any of the Jules ladies are watching, I want all of that artwork to be a surprise. So this is just the big cupboard that I've got, and I do, in that I have my guillotine and things that I don't use very often. And I find now that I have my space worked out pretty well. My space gets dirty at times, and you know, I have challenges, but I'm very well organized, and if I'm ruthless about it, then you know, I know that I can organize everything that I do really well. So that's it from me. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching my channel, and subscribe to me. Find me, I'm Missladypetal online, and I'm sure if you do a Google search in Missladypetal, you'll find heaps of things about me, because I've been a little bit prolific over the last 12 months, and I can't wait to hear what you have to think about my video, and just let me know. I'm excited about it.